that's so bright. It's way too bright. Wow, that was bright. That goes bright. That's a bright light. It's a bright night light. Night lights are bright. Bright light. Bright light. Bright light. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Bright light. I don't know what a bright light would be, but we could make a bright light. Ooh. Ooh, that's some good coffee. Some good coffee. That's pristine coffee. I love it. Woo! Let's kick it. Let's do this. Let's do the stream. It's Friday night. We do the stream. 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do the streams. We do all the streams. What's going on, Raiden? Mr. Zim72. What's going on, dude? How you guys doing? How's your guys' Friday night? Chill. Kicking. Hopefully. Seems like a pretty good day. Not too bad. Got all the valve buckets ordered for the EJ25 today. That was a... it's not fun. It's never fun measuring valve bucket sizes, but got them all ordered, so hopefully we got them all right on the first time because buckets are not cheap. Let me tell you, at $25 a piece, and you need 16 of them, they add up quick. So hopefully they're all right. We're going to have to grind one of the valve buckets down a little bit just for valve clearance, but everything's going on. Got the heads on the car yesterday. Oh, wait, this isn't in Discord. Why would it be in Discord? It should push the notification in Discord, but it should be on YouTube. Richard, what is going on, dude? Jack, Christian, double Christian, Christian times 2, Christian squared. What's going on, guys? Ricky, how's it going? It's going, my man. Got the heads on the EJ257 yesterday. Got the heads built, heads put on. Valve buckets measured. Got some assembly done on the motor. Had to clean up some cam journals today because I forgot to send those to the machine shop for a hone. So I did like a DIY repair on cam journals. Definitely a little terrifying and exciting when doing it because you can definitely make things a lot worse if you're not doing it right. But cam journals came out pretty good. Valve buckets are ordered. All the good stuff. Jeez, Brandon coming in here early with the dono. Appreciate it. Dude, appreciate the dono, man. Coming in early with that, too. Always appreciate it, you guys. That'll go towards bucket costs for what we spent today. I think we spent just under like $500 on valve buckets. Gets expensive quick, but should be good to go, hopefully. Assuming that all the buckets fit the first time. Plumber, also appreciate the dono, dude. You guys coming in here right as we start and killing it every time. Always appreciate it, you guys. Where did I just go? How's it going? They are very expensive, my guy. I ground the inside of mine to set lash with a bridge port. I'm going to have to do that with at least 2 of them. We need to pull off like 4/1000ths of an inch on 2 valve buckets to get everything to clear because even the smallest bucket size that Subaru offers was too big. So we're going to have to go through there, grind a couple of them down, but it's no big deal. We can get that knocked out and they should fit perfectly. The other, 14 valves were all OEM bucket sizes that we could order, so pretty good there. Ooh, what's up, my dude? What's news on the EG33? So I sent the EG33 back down to out front 2 days ago. Tracking from what I've seen, the motor hasn't moved, which kind of worries me a little bit, and it says that it's still at the FedEx facility, I believe. I'm going to double check. Because nothing has changed on this that I'm aware of. It was supposed to be delivered today, but this travel history is showing that it hasn't moved at all, so I'm getting a little worried. So if it doesn't move by Monday, I'm going to call that FedEx place and see what's going on with it. I'm like super, what is the word, paranoid, I guess you could call it, that like something's going to happen to that motor. So I made sure to get like dash cam footage of when Melanie and I dropped it off at FedEx. So if anything happens to it, like I have footage, I have the bill of lading, I have the shipping label, I have everything proving that I dropped it off. So hopefully it actually moves from the shipping facility tomorrow and starts headed back down to California. Also, Alex, appreciate the dono coming in quick. You guys are coming in quick with this stream, dropping them donos. Always appreciate it, you guys. Always helps out every single way. You have absolutely no idea. Cody, what is up? Hope all is well. It is going, my dude. CS Gray, yo, what is going on, my man? It's kicking. Bortforts, happy Friday to everyone. What is grooving? What's grooving, man? What's grooving, my dude? I feel it. Jason, Ayo, Mike, what's up, my dude? Christian, I'm gonna ask my question now. What's better, LED bulb or white halos? Going for color more than brightness. I mean, if you're going for something like color, they do make some color changing bulbs. I wouldn't necessarily suggest them. If you want some like color changing stuff like that, definitely snag halos. I wouldn't get Morimoto. I'd probably get Diode Dynamics. They're what is it, RBGW set is actually pretty good. Also, Stefan, appreciate the dono. Also, you guys are absolutely killing it tonight. Killing it. Coming in and killing it in the stream. Only 5 minutes in. You guys kill it. I love it. Don, what up, homie? What up, Don? What up, dude? Ricky, what's your best... or what's your honest opinion on Blackview 750? Are they worth the money, or should I get the 900 for 4K? Honestly, the 750 is just fine. I run the 750 in the 17 STI, in the 05 STI, and in Melanie's 17 Impreza. It's a very good dash cam. I don't really see a need for 4K dash cams unless you're trying to see something like super far away and you want to zoom in on it. If that's the case, then by all means get the 4K one, but the 1080p should be just fine. I believe the 750 does come with 1080p. It should. Like 90% sure it comes to 1080p. I love Blackview. I've worked with Blackview before. Incredibly good dash cams. I'm not saying that just because they've sent me dash cams in the past. Like, they're actually good dash cams that you can see things clearly with. So I'm all about it. Bought and installed my BC coils because of you, and I love them. Hey, glad to hear. I like the BCs. I have no quarrels with the BCs. They just take a little extra love and maintenance over the years, just to make sure that nothing seizes up on you as you're driving. So just make sure you're staying like on top of like cleaning them every now and then, and they should be totally solid. First off, would you recommend buying a used Cobb SF intake, or should I buy brand new? I have no problem buying a used SF intake. I've bought them used before. If you want a new filter for it, I believe they're like $35, $40. Not that bad. It saves you, like, if you buy them used, you can get them cheaper, like $80 cheaper than brand new. It's only like, it's a hose and like an intake snorkel, and that's it. It's no problem buying those used. Just caught me some Cobb fuel rails and fuel lines for my Forester EJ205. That is a good pickup, Logan. Good pickup. Not gonna lie, I thought you were talking about bucket seats for the 17. No. So we do have bucket seats coming for the 17 STI. They're probably not going to ship out until late March, early April. So excited to get those in. They should fit up nicely. Also, Alec, appreciate the dono, dude. Appreciate it. We got like... I think that's a lemon. I think we got like a lemon over here with his heart popping out. Appreciate the dono, guys. You guys absolutely kill it. You guys already know everything goes back into the channel. The stuff gets expensive quick, and your boy eats ramen and hamburger helper almost every night, but no complaints because I love what I do. But yeah, bucket seats for the 17 STI are coming. We have a set of race quips that are going to be going in that car because they are FIA approved seats, and I do plan on doing some time attack with that 17 STI. So we need FIA approved safety equipment, obviously. So we do have bucket seats coming for that car. Good evening, brother. How's the snowpocalypse going? The snow has been gone for like a week. Actually, no, it's probably been like 5 days the snow's been gone. So it like snowed, and then 2 days later, all the snow was gone. I mean, that's normally how it works up here in Washington. What type of intake manifold are you going to run on the EG33? Completely custom, so we're going to be using an OEM intake manifold that's going to be cut right down the middle, and we're only going to be using the runners off of it. The rest is going to be a welded piece with a reverse manifold, so the throttle body is going to be facing forward. And then I got to figure out what throttle body I'm going to use for that one. I think I'm probably going to use Boomba because it's really the only throttle body that somewhat works with the stock harness and the stock connector, so I think I'm going to go with Boomba on that one, but... I'm in the same boat, man. I got 438 bucket, so that hopefully that works, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I have two, what is it? I did all the measurements in here. I have a video like coming out for you guys on bucket measurements. So the way I did it is I just go through and I do like a little chart right here. So like forward, backwards, passenger side, and then all the buckets. You do all the measurements. You do all the calculations. You guys will have a whole video on that one coming out in sometime in the next couple days. I don't quite know when because there's a lot of information that's about to come out. You guys, tomorrow's video is going to show you guys how to completely assemble EJ20 and EJ25 heads from the head up, so keep an eye out for that one. Also, Connor, appreciate the dono. You guys coming in here killing it already. Not even 10 minutes into the stream, you guys are absolutely blowing it up. Always appreciate it, you guys. Hey man, EG33 is beautiful. Appreciate it, my friend. Hopefully we get it back here soon. Like I said, the whole FedEx thing just kind of stresses me out with the fact that it hasn't moved in 2 days and it still says it's sitting at that FedEx warehouse. I personally went and dropped it off. I palletized it. I did everything. So I just want it to go. I just want it to ship back down. Have you ever had P000A camshaft position slow response bake one code? I personally have not, but what could be the issue on that one? You could be like off a tooth on timing, or you actually just might have a bad like cam position sensor. Either one of them. I don't know how much a replacement sensor costs. You can definitely check timing if you want to. You can just pull off the outermost covers on the left and right hand side, turn the car over with the crank using a 22mm socket, and just make sure everything is still within time. Those are really the only real times I've ever seen those codes be thrown is either when timing is off or when a sensor is actually bad. Jose STI, what's good, brother? Happy Friday. How's the weather out there? What is going on, dude? It was actually a pretty nice day. I think it was probably like 50 degrees today. It was sunny for most of the day, then started raining at like nighttime, so I cannot complain. Been a pretty solid day. Yep, that was my situation. Was the smallest bucket they offered was still too big. Told me I had to grind the tip of the valve. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not grinding any of my valves. I will grind the valve bucket. Palletized. I will grind the valve bucket before I grind a valve. Plus, I've already installed everything. So, I mean, at this point, I'm not taking the head back off and pulling all the valves back out. Logan, bro, love what you do. Hey, appreciate it, my dude. Appreciate it, my man. Don was given a parent AOS for free. No complaints there. Should I get the IAG AOS instead 2015 STI? I mean, if you got the parent one for free, the parent one works. It just, in my opinion, it doesn't look or function as well as the IAG one does. IAG just makes a really good AOS. But, I mean, if you got it for free, if someone gave me a free parent AOS, I'd probably use it and save like $400 to $500 on buying an IAG one right now. If I saw continual blow-by being pushed back into the intake track with the parent one, at that point I would kind of pull it off, swap on an IAG one. But if you got one for free, just send it. You should be fine. Brendan, I drive for FedEx, and we are super backed due to all the snow that has been happening. But is it backed up here because of snow? Like, there's no snow right now from, like, Washington to California as like, far as I'm concerned. There might be, and I just don't know. But the truck's not going anywhere where there's snow. It's not going any over mountains either. No mountains. No mountains involved. Aiming for about 400 wheel horsepower for my 04 wagon. Should I go Bill EJ205 or engine swap? Was thinking JDM EJ207, but not sure. Honestly, if you want to keep things a lot more simple, stick with the 205. If you don't mind going the extra mile for the 207 swap, the 207 swap is a very good idea to do. But just keeping things easier, 205 swaps are pretty simple to stick with at this point. Plus Cobb supports them and everything like that. When you start going over to like JDM motors, unless you're doing like ECU swaps and things like that, that's kind of when you lose a lot of the availability of being able to use an access port, because they obviously don't work with JDM ECUs. Also, Reno, appreciate the dono. You guys are like blowing it up tonight. You guys are killing it. I always appreciate it. Always appreciate it, you guys. Has Matt ever wanted to manual swap his Outback? That's a good question. That is a very good question. And the answer is yes. But apparently doing a manual swap in those older Outbacks is a lot more difficult than it seems, going from an automatic to a manual, because there's the TCM, the ECU, because the ECU works with the TCM. God, what was the other one? Some people have tried it in the past of swapping over a 6-speed into an auto, and when doing so, they said like their ABS doesn't work. There's a whole bunch of other issues. There's a lot of write-ups on it, and it's not as easy as it is doing it in some of the older WRXs. The way he would have to do it would be get an entire parts car and just swap it all over. We've talked about it. We've tried working it out. We might try it. That's completely up to Matt if he wants to do that one. But he has considered it. We have looked into it. There have been a ton of failed attempts, but I think if we were to do it, we could probably figure it out. I'm doing the Cobb Stage 1 Plus right now. Ooh, can't wait till it is done. Nice. Get that SF intake in there, Cody. Do you know about sizes on wheels for the Blob Eye? I like to run 18 by 8.5 plus 35, but if I don't have to roll fenders, honestly, it kind of depends on what your tire size is, also how low you are. There's some other factors and variables that go into that. It's not that bad to roll your fenders either. Just, I mean, I've rolled all the fenders on all my cars. I need to roll and pull the fenders on the 05 STI. It's not that bad to do. A little bit of heat, a fender roller. I think I have a whole video up on how to do fender rolling on the BRZ. If you want, I can definitely make one on how to do it on a GD chassis, but it's going to be pretty much the exact same. Fox, yo, what's going on, Omni? Yo, Polon. I think I got that one. What's up? What's up? Damo! Hey, Tanner. Hope, what's going on, dude? What up, dude? CS Gray. Smeedy, I've been looking around for aftermarket seats for my 2020 WRX. What are some things to consider for the install? It's a daily. Personally, I don't like fixed back seats for a daily driver. I did it in my old 350Z, and getting in and out of the car was the most annoying part. I didn't mind driving with the bucket seats in there, but physically getting into the car and getting out of the car, you've got these high side bolsters on each side, which just makes it a little bit annoying to do. Some people do it with the... Hey, Matt. Matt can answer the 6-speed swap question with Chewy. He's in the chat. Matt, also appreciate the dono, dude. Hype. All the hype. The hype hippo. I'm all about it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if you want a good aftermarket seat, get one that's reclinable, doesn't have like massive side bolsters. That would be my suggestion, especially in the newer 2020 WRXs and STIs. The seats do tend to sit a little bit high, so if you want something that sits a little bit lower, look at different aftermarket rail options as well, because if you go to reuse the stock rails, you're just going to be sitting like super tall again. What are my thoughts on the Silver Neomax coilovers? Personally, I have never used them, but I've heard good things about the Silver Neomaxes. They're also a little bit more budget-friendly and affordable than some of the other options out there. If anyone else in here has used the Silver Neomax, feel free to throw in some recommendations on it. Also, Sam, what up? Hope you guys are enjoying your sushi. Budget coilovers for daily driving. BR is going to be my go-to for that one. Or if anyone has any other recommendations on the Silver Neomax coilovers, those might be a good one. I've never used them before, so I can't give you like good feedback on them. Plumber coming in with the banana. Coming in with the banana. Thanks, Plumber. Appreciate the dono, my man. Always appreciate it, dude. Jack, for the Cobb air intake and box in the blob eye, how often do you replace that air filter? Honestly, I just clean it most of the time unless it looks like it's crunched or like smushed or smashed or like just like destroyed. You can clean them and reuse them for like a while. About to take off my cam gear bolts in a sec. I'm sorry. That's not fun. Those bolts suck to pull out. And we're back to the palletized. FedEx. I know, FedEx. Got an older guy down the street with an SVX restored and painted World Rally Blue. That's sick. Ooh, World Rally Blue SVX. That thing would be sick. I should get an SVX at some point. That'd be kind of cool to have an SVX and the EG33 swapped STI. I don't know. That'd be weird. SVXs are cool cars. I like SVXs. I appreciate you taking the time to message me from the chat and clearing up the flex fuel for me. You the homie. Go get some hamburger helper with this brother and that Ramis. That's what I'm saying. Who doesn't like hamburger helper? It's good and cheap. Would you recommend an STI for a first project car? Yes. As a matter of fact, I would. Especially an older one. If you don't mind taking the time to learn on it, how to fix all the things, their parts are readily available. I mean, you can use parts from an 04 all the way up to a 2020 STI. At this point, they're all pretty much interchangeable. That's the thing I love about Subarus is they're essentially like Legos. That is one good thing about them keeping the same engine for almost 20 years, is that everything you can take from a newer one and bolt it onto an older one. For the most part. Thoughts on the GrimmSpeed AOS? I feel like I know what you're going to say. Garbage! GrimmSpeed AOS is not a good AOS. GrimmSpeed makes a lot of good products, and I like GrimmSpeed. They make a lot of good stuff, but their air oil separator is not one of them. It is not one of their good products. And that's the thing about a lot of these companies. They have good products. They have bad products. Just unfortunately, one of GrimmSpeed's bad ones is the AOS. When we checked the one on Matt's car, Matt still has a GrimmSpeed AOS on there. I remember a while ago we had to pull the turbo inlet off. I don't remember what we were doing, but we were doing something down there. When we looked, there was so much oil just fed back into the turbo inlet that there was a pool, not a puddle, not like a little, just like a small residue amount. I'm talking a pool of oil sitting in front of the turbo. I do not suggest that one to anyone. Doesn't LTL wait for a full truck or a scheduled run? They might, actually. I don't know. I don't know how LTL works. I should, because I used to like do shipping and receiving for aerospace. And you'd think I'd know, but normally the trucks would just come pick it up whenever. I don't know. Maybe they do. I have no idea. It's scheduled as priority, so I would have thought that it would have shipped out like soon-ish, but I have no idea. Late again. Dude, you ain't that late. We only 20 minutes in. Jose, hey, what up, Tanner? Keep doing what you doing. Appreciate it, my man. Can't wait to see the STI run STIs. plural, both of them there. Running, I'm sure you can't either. For real, like, the 05 is close. The 05 is getting there. We just need the valve buckets to come in. Verify valve lash on everything. I did change valve lash on the 05 STI as well, so because we recut the valve seats for the new valves going in, it did pull the valve closer inwards to like the valve cover, if you want to reference it that way. So obviously valve lash changed incredibly amongst every single valve from what they were before. Like before we went through and did this, all the valve bucket measurements were coming in at like 478, 484, 49 on the high side. Now they're coming in at like 438, 443, 463 on the exhaust side because we have a little bit bigger of a gap, 458. Like, these bucket sizes have significantly changed. I cannot reuse any of the old buckets at this point. But yeah, I'm excited for it to get going. Can't shake P0300. Change spark plug, swap coil packs around. No boost, no vacuum leaks. Any advice? So if you are still getting a misfire after checking ignition, at that point, check fuel. An easy way to do that is you could obviously pull the injector out. Pull cylinder 3 injector out, because I believe is P0300 all cylinders, or is that cylinder 3? P0300. We'll just do STI. What is that one? I'm pretty sure. Oh, random misfire. That one's not a fun one to chase down. Random misfire. That could be a lot of stuff. So what is it going on here? Who's this dude? Oh, Subi Preferred. They have a lot of good videos. Engine misfire, diagnose, test trace. Hey, they got a lot of good videos. They might have something in there. Off the top of my head, if it's a random misfire, when it was happening for me, when I was getting random misfire in every single cylinder, it was due to the map sensor. I'm not saying that your map sensor is going bad, but you could try cleaning it. Try cleaning your mass airflow sensor. Stick those back in. That's probably the easiest thing I could think of. If you want, you can pull the injectors and get them flow tested. But if you're getting a random misfire amongst every single cylinder, at that point, I wouldn't think that it's fuel anymore. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to pull them out, swap them around, see if that works. But for me, it was a bad map sensor or MAF sensor. But without having the car actually here to diagnose and take a look at it, it's kind of hard to judge what it might be. So I hope you are able to get it figured out soon, my friend. Kurt, what are you thinking about doing with your car, Mittens? Mittens is not my car. That is Matt's car. That is another one of Matt's cars. The only cars that I have are someone just brought in spark plug gap. That's what I suggested last time. By the looks of it, it looks like he went through and checked all that. Once again, hopefully the random misfires get detected. But as for Mittens, Mittens is not mine. The only cars that I have are the 05 STI and the 17 STI. Melanie has the Impreza that I drive around here and there. Matt has the Neon, the Outback, and then Mittens is also theirs too. So Mittens is going to be alive again one day. I just don't know when. Also, Connor, appreciate the other dono, dude. We got the screaming cat popping up in here. We got like a dancing dog with some heart fans. I'm all about it. I love it. Absolutely love it every single time. Love it. But yeah, Mittens will be alive. I'm out. Good luck. Have a good evening, Connor. I hope you have a good weekend, my man. Also, appreciate the donos before you head out. Appreciate it, dude. But yeah, Mittens will be up and running again at some point. I just don't know. I don't know when. Mittens is mine. Mittens. That's why I said it as plural, Sam. Yours and Matt's as a collective. How's it going? I have a bit of an issue with my 04 Subaru STI. I took out my intercooler because I had a smoking problem coming out of the turbo area. When I took out the intercooler, I discovered oil in it. Well, obviously, it's either going to be blow-by that's getting in there and then leaking out past the coupler inside of there and then potentially dropping down, like hitting the cylinder or the header or the up pipe and then burning off, creating a smoking thing there. If you don't already have an air oil separator, definitely get one. That will definitely help with oil consumption. If that continues, though, and you still have oil getting through somewhere, then you have a much bigger problem that is a little more difficult to diagnose. But I would start by getting an air oil separator, going in there, cleaning up all the old oil while you have the intercooler out, or if it's already back in, I would suggest pulling it out, running acetone or some type of cleaner through there, like MEK or MPK, just to clean out any old oil that might be like chilling inside of there. Not a bad idea. We'll get all the old stuff out. How soon should you get a tune after an engine rebuild? I mean, if it's just like an OEM spec rebuild, you don't really need a tune for that one. If it's like a full out custom, like closed deck, forged pistons, forged rods, all that stuff, and you're doing like all these new modifications to it, at that point you're going to want to get a base tune. Obviously, you're going to want to follow the break-in procedure for the engine. After the break-in procedure has been completed, then drive the car, go get an actual Pro Tune, and send it from there. Brian STI, the exhaust manifold going into the intercooler and seeping back. Oh, okay, this is back up to the oil consumption one. The exhaust manifold going back up to the intercooler and seeping through. Like I said, air oil separator would be my first thing there. Clean out all the old oil vapor in there, or all the old oil buildup with some MEK acetone, something like that. Shove it back on there. If you still have a lot of oil consumption, you're still getting a lot of blow-by, at that point you might have a bigger issue that needs a little more diagnosing. Carlos, appreciate your channel, man. Appreciate the support, my dude. Been doing a lot more DIY projects on the STI, which is saving me extra money for parts. That's what I'm saying. That's why I started doing a lot of my own DIY stuff, is machine shop costs, performance shops, dealer costs. It adds up quick if you are not doing your own installs and you're not doing your own labor. Like labor cost alone, I think at the average at most shops is around $100 to $120 an hour, with some installs taking up to 12, 16 hours for some of the bigger ones. That adds up relatively quick, like thousands of dollars quick. So it definitely saves a lot of money, so I'm glad they are helping. Would you think that I should just get an aftermarket seat rails instead of doing full seats to get a lower seating position? I don't have any complaints about the seats just sitting high. For sure. What I've used Sparco in the past with some pretty good results with those ones. Outside of that, I haven't tested any other seat rails. But yeah, different seats will give you a lower seating position. Some seats too will change the seating position too, just based off of where they mount. But yeah, definitely it is a good thing to consider if you are looking at trying to lower that seat position, because I do agree that it does sit rather high with the OEM rails. So you might be able to bring that down a little bit. Thoughts on the S209 rear bumper vents? I want to rock them on my 2014 hatch. I personally really like them. The only thing I don't like is all the aftermarket options out there are just held on with 3M tape. I'm not a huge fan of parts only being stuck on my car with double-sided sticky tape. That's the only complaint I have about them, but they do look really good. BC or Fortunato, if you can afford it. Fortunato. First year missing snowdrift in 7 years, really bummed. What is snowdrift? Snowdrift, is that an event or is that literally just like snowdrifting? Either way, sorry you missed it. Sorry I missed it, Doug. How long do you think it takes for the cop access port to pair to my car and tune it? Like how long, like when you initially plug it in and it's marrying? I don't know, 2 minutes? 2 minutes, the tune probably takes another 60 seconds, so I'm gonna say 3 minutes. 3 minutes in total. What up, bro? This is Pedro. I'm using my girl's premium too, but I'm always watching her videos, dude. My girl always getting mad because I'm always watching her videos. Well, I appreciate it, my friend. And I'm sure her recommended page is just full of Subaru content now, but that is nothing to complain about. Finally picked up my 93 Ultra Bass Impreza? For some reason I thought Impala. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that. But congrats, dude. I'm getting the IAG Street AOS as soon as possible to get rid of my GrimmSpeed AOS. It's not worth it at all. So much blow by and cleaning it out. For real. And what was it? I was in one of GrimmSpeed's live streams, and I don't mean to take over these companies' live streams whenever I jump in. I'm genuinely interested in hearing what they have going on and like learning more about whatever they're talking about. And one of the GrimmSpeed ones I jumped in, someone asked why, quote unquote, why does your AOS suck? And they gave some like walk around, beat around the bush advice where they're like, every engine's different. They're all going to consume oil differently, which that is true. But when it's like 90% of the AOSs out there that are still just pushing oil back into the system, like that's just not, there's something wrong. There's something wrong there. It's not right. Also, Cody, appreciate the dono, dude. Keep it up, Pear. We got the Pear working out. I'm all about it. I love Perry the Pear. I think that's the name we stuck with, was Perry for the Pear. Ben, what's going on, dude? Best year for STI WX for building 400 wheel horsepower. If you want my complete, honest, and utter answer, it is going to be a 2007 STI. I do think that 07 STIs are the golden year for all STIs ever made. They give you the most raw driving experience. They have like minimal computers in there. They give really good driver feedback. They're very mechanical. I like them. They came with the newer updates while still retaining the GD styling. So you have top feed injection. Unfortunately, you do get a secondary air pump in there, but you can definitely delete that. And they came with a couple other updates, revised gearing, leather wrap steering wheel, some other goodies in there. But 07 STI, in my personal opinion, is the golden year for all STIs. I remembered the hard way that the sedan front bumper is different than the front on the wagon. That is true, even though they look the same, but we found a way to get the STI side things on. Hey, well, I'm glad you still were able to get it on. Ever had a bad motor mount? Yeah, the ones in the 05 STI when I bought it. My driver's side motor mount is cooked. I think it's affecting my takeoff launch. Well, it definitely will if you have a cooked motor mount, because it's definitely not doing its job of keeping it down to the subframe as it should. But yeah, when I first got the 05 STI, the couple times I've driven it before we tore it apart, both of the motor mounts were just shot. The whole motor shook a ton. Get the Group N ones. They're a really good upgrade over stock, and they are, well, they're still like an OE motor mount, but they're relatively affordable. I think it's like 40 bucks for the Group N ones. You cannot go wrong. Are TGV deletes necessary? I mean, that kind of depends on what your definition of necessary is. I mean, if you want to make more like 350, 400 wheel horsepower, get some TGV deletes. They're worth it in my opinion. Or if you don't want to buy a set, just Dremel out your stock ones and make your own TGV deletes. But yeah, it significantly increases airflow going from the manifold into the cylinders. You're losing like a whole butterfly valve system in there. Definitely helps. Back to my normal BS though. Get a 4-port boost controller, Rally. We're back to the Enterprise rental. I don't know how Enterprise would feel. What would Enterprise do? They'd probably be so mad if I rented one of their cars, rallied it, and then posted a video of it. If Enterprise ever found out. Just got a hold of an STI Genome exhaust for my GD. Ooh, Genome goodies. Any tips to clean the exhaust to make it look new again? Chemical Guys metal polish has worked pretty well for me in the past to pull out a lot of the imperfections and the dirt that's just been like built up in like stainless steel, aluminum, things like that. I used it on my cam journals today. Works out very well. That's what I would suggest. I use it on a lot of stuff. Also, congrats on the Genome exhaust. Genome stuff is cool. If you guys don't know what Genome like STI parts are, like I've been trying to hunt these down for a while. Bam. If I can pull this up. I've been trying to hunt these down for a while, if my mouse will cooperate. Like Genome STI gauges. They are Defi. Some people pronounce it Defi, Defy, whatever you want to call it. They're, see, Defi. They're like OEM gauge options, but I've been trying to find like oil pressure, oil temp, and water temp, and they are hard to find. You also have to find the controller box that comes with them, and obviously this mount, but they're a really cool OEM option that they came out with a really long time ago. Oh, this one says in stock. What do you come with? How much are you? $4.99? That's a lot. I don't got money for that. Oil pressure, oil temp, and boost. That's got 2 out of the 3 that I want. Just buy this right now. I don't have money for this. What am I talking about? Be cool. I want water temp. I want water temp. Genome stuff, though. Genome stuff is awesome. If any of you guys have, like, older GD stuff and you're looking for, like, some really cool, like, OEM... Jeez, can my mouse work? If you're looking for some, like, really cool OEM stuff, the Genome stuff is cool. Hi from Australia, you mad rooster. What's going on? Steve, what's going on, dude? Did an oil and oil filter change yesterday. Cleaned air filter today. Now off for a drive. Take it easy, Tanner. Enjoy the drive, my friend. Oh, new stupid idea I got while watching Hoovie's Garage earlier. Contact Copart and see if they'll sponsor a Rallycross build. NA Beater GCG. Ooh, that would be cool. There's a Copart literally like 2 blocks down the street that way. Well, it's not. It's farther than 2 blocks, but there's a Copart really close. He never fixed the mic. I did fix the mic, and then it started doing it again. It's just it's this mic. It's just the mic. Every time I do it, it does it. It does the thing. It just does the thing. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll buy a new mic at some point. Also, Christian, appreciate the dono. Yo, check your DMs on Insta. Trying to find out how much it would be to build some headlights for an 06 Forester XT. I will write a note down with my Sharpie. I will write a note down. Insta DM headlight. Bam! Now I won't forget. Oh up! Wait a minute, I'm here. What up, dude? What up, young? Hey, so I just bought some Fortunatos and F-Spec coilovers for my 2020 WX. Do you think I should have gotten a different brand model or the F-Spec good? I mean, they're good coilo. Fortunato F-Spec? I need to take a peek at those. Fortunato F-Spec. They look like just the 500 series. Are they just the 500 series? They look like the 500 series. They look like these. This is what happens when I pull up F-Spec. Jeez, I'm going to throw my mouse across the room, I swear. Whenever I type in F-Spec, it just comes up with the 500 series. If you got these are very good coilovers. These are what I used in the BRZ. This is what I used my old FRS. This is what I'm going to be using on the 17 STI. You can't go wrong with Fortunato. Quality. Straight quality, my friend. Hey, so I just bought some, that's just the one I just read. That's the one I just read. Stefan, it's been a minute. Sorry I'm never here. Well, hopefully things are getting, like, worked out for you, dude. I know you've been going through some stuff right now, so hopefully everything is, like, smoothing out and it's no longer, like, rough and bumpy. BC or Fortunato, question mark. Neither. Stance USA. I've never heard of Stance. I have never heard of Stance USA. Can't wait for that 2022 STI. I already sold the WRX. I am aware you sold the WRX. And saving the money for that down payment. In the meantime, fixing up the DA9 Integra. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Hopefully, Subaru, hopefully it's not a huge letdown with the 2022, with the FA24. I know there's going to be some issues with it in the first, like, 6 months to 18 months. But hopefully it's nothing major. Hopefully it's nothing major. Ready for some power mods on my STI. That's what I'm talking about, Jose. I currently have an access port and unlocked the rumble with a catback. A downpipe would get me more power, but some turbo music from an intake would be nice too. What to do? Jose, what is the car? Can't run both with an access port. Oh, you already, so it's a 15 plus STI. You are correct. You cannot run intake and downpipe on the 15 plus STI. The fuel system just will not keep up with it. If you want to do a downpipe and an intake, at minimum, you're going to have to do fuel injectors and a fuel pump to fully utilize the gains from the intake and the downpipe. I've seen some people run a map using the intake and downpipe, but there's really just not a point because you're not going to be making any power. Essentially what they do is they just turn down the boost to compensate because the fuel system cannot keep up with what you're doing. Personally, if it were me, I would do the turbo back. I would get all the fueling stuff ordered, just a fuel pump, like 1050 injectors, get an intake, and then just get an E-tune at that point. You should be pretty solid. Those were two other options for my G35, and Stance has been amazing since 2019. Hey, there we go. There we go. Some good stuff on the Stance. Also, Plumber, appreciate the dono, dude, and hope you have a solid weekend, my friend. Hopefully you have like a chill, relaxed weekend. What is the best ride height that I have found for the WRX? I mean, that's going to vary from chassis to chassis, car to car, wheel and tire setup, and suspension setup. Typically, I leave about an inch to an inch and a half of wheel gap. Well, it's not a wheel gap, but of like coilover gap, I guess you call it, from collar to collar. I normally go like an inch to an inch and a half, but that's definitely going to vary on a lot of variables on that one. I recently got tuned and my GrimmSpeed intake noise is too loud now. Too loud. And even under boost. Got a cob front mount and an LF bypass valve as part of the system. How can I reduce the noise level? Change filter, airbox, ideas. Get a smaller intake. The GrimmSpeed one is a little loud. I'm pretty sure you're referring to their cold air intake, which has the giant filter on it. So if you want something a little bit quieter, consider getting something like the Cobb SF, an OEM SPT, something along those lines. I'm getting feedback knock. My fine knock learn with 1.0. Damn. Well, what are the values that you are getting? Because that's going to two finger for wheel gap. How much feedback knock or fine knock learn are you actually getting? You don't know Snowdrift in Michigan? I don't. A season opener for ARA, only snow stage rally in the country. It's badass. Big time rally names. I will have to check it out. I'm kind of curious. I will have to do a Googles after this and watch some videos on it. If only GrimmSpeed's AOS actually worked, because the design is nice and simple. That is true, but we want things to work. We want all this stuff to work. I need a fuel pump and injectors. Any advice? 17 STI. Get an AEM 340 liter per hour or a DW 300C. Very good fuel pumps. I've used both of them. Never had issues with either. A lot of people complain about the DW fuel pumps. I've never had an issue with them. And then as for injectors, like ID 1050s, probably what you're going to be shooting for, unless you're shooting for more than 400 wheel horsepower. If you're shooting for more than 400, then you're going to want like ID 1300s at minimum. Also surprised you've never called an Impreza an imp. I never call the Impreza. I've never called them imps. I've just never done it. Is getting a slightly wrecked Subi a bad idea? I mean, that depends what your definition of slightly wrecked is. I mean, some slightly wrecked ones are fixable. Other slightly wrecked ones are not so fixable. If it's fixable, by all means. But just keep in mind how much it's going to cost to fix it, and how sometimes all the damage isn't always visible. Just keep that in mind. Buying an EJ205 and EJ20G long block for $100 tomorrow. That's a good deal. I want to build an EJ20 stroker. Any tips? Have fun. Take your time. Make sure everything's clean when you're building it. Make sure you go through the proper steps of getting everything machined that need to be machined. And get ready to spend a pretty penny. But should be a fun build when it's done. $4.99 for a controller, 3 gauges, and a pod. That's cheap. Yeah, but see, we don't know if all the gauges work. We don't know if they all work. That's always the toss-up here with buying, like, old, used JDM gauges. That's just, ugh. How did you get into YouTube and filming videos? I was sitting on my couch one day, and then I was watching YouTube. I think at the time I was watching, like, Daily Driven Exotics or something, and I was like, I could do that. So I went to Best Buy, I bought a Canon M50, and I started shooting videos in my garage, and now here we are. That's really just the way it happened. Well, obviously I loved and enjoyed doing it, or else I wouldn't have kept making videos, but for sure. Doug. Perfect. Is GD Genome suspension better than standard STI-S? Well, obviously the Genome stuff is going to be a little bit better than OEM STI. It's like, you have like OEM Subaru, like right here, then you have like STI, and then Genome is just a division of STI, so I guess you could put Genome above STI. It's like STI then Genome, but they're like very close to one another. WRX STI, what up? What is up, my friend? The Leviathan, nah, that's a little overpriced. You can get them significantly cheaper, like $500 is a little pricey in my opinion. And it doesn't come with sensors for any of it, keep that in mind. Like, that's literally just the gauges, the gauge pod, and the controller. You still have to buy all the gauge sensors and everything like that, so add another $150, $200 on top of that for new sensors. Is getting a feedback knock and fine knock learn with... We said that. I know, but what are the values? What are the values of your fine knock learn and feedback knock? This is in relation to the secondary air pump. When I start my 04WRX in the colder temps, I get a sound from the engine bay that sounds like an air compressor nozzle in a grocery bag. That's interesting, because the 04WRX never came with secondary air pumps. That shouldn't have a secondary air pump. And you're getting noises from it. That makes me think of something else. I mean, you shouldn't have a secondary air... The secondary air pump wasn't incorporated into, like, 06, 07. Unless you have, like, a swap with a newer motor with a secondary air pump on it. It costs the same amount of materials and your time to build headlights or pay someone else for their time. Some people don't like going through and taking apart their headlights. It can be a little daunting if you don't know what you're doing. Looking for equal length header for my F820 WRX. Any recommendations? Killer B, 100%, hands down. While you're doing it, get the external wastegates and just, oh, they sound good. 100% Killer B on that one. What aftermarket seats do I recommend for a 2018 WRX? Aftermarket seats depends on your budget, to be honest. I really like Matt's Corbos and his Outback. Those ones are somewhat affordable. The new version of the Bride Cusco Zetas are pretty good looking. I think those are about $800 a seats for the FRP ones. I personally haven't sat in those ones, but they look pretty comfy. Just kind of depends on how much you want to spend, because keep in mind you have to buy seats, seat rails. If you want sliders, obviously you're going to want sliders. You're going to have to buy sliders. It can add up pretty quick. FP Green or Cobb 20G, which one is better? Looking to aim. Do not get the Cobb, because the Cobb maxes out at 400 wheel horsepower. So just toss that idea straight out the window. I would definitely get an FP Green or an FP Red at that point. Things are slowly starting to get better, but still carless. Hopefully insurance will do something soon. I am hoping and praying that insurance does something for you soon, my friend. I do not blame you for missing your WRX. You got a clean blob eye too. What do I think about the Cobb 20G? Well, as I just said, if you're looking for anything more than 400 wheel horsepower, do not even consider the Cobb 20G. If you're looking for anything between 400 wheel horsepower and below, the Cobb 20G is a very good replacement. Honestly, anything between like 330 to 400 wheel horsepower, the Cobb 20G is a really good turbo. If you're looking to make up to 330 wheel horsepower-ish, a VF39 and a VF48 can get you there, but it's kind of depend on how far you want to push that turbo. Also, way to appreciate the dono, dude. Love your enthusiasm. Thanks for all the great info. have some cheddar. My 2017 WRX equals Subi number 6. Appreciate the dono, my friend. And always, you got to have the enthusiasm. You got to bring it. Always got to bring it. For starters, what would you recommend? Access port and downpipe or access port and intake at 18 STI? You're going to see more gains with the downpipe than you are the intake. If it were me, I would get the access port and the downpipe before getting an access port and an intake. Once you're ready to do the intake, just keep in mind, as we talked about earlier, you are going to have to add those fueling modifications on there. But if you had to get one over the other, you're going to see better gains with the downpipe than you are with the intake. The other night, I got code P0456 for a small evap leak out of nowhere. What can it be? It's got to be a vacuum leak in your evap system. Evap system is relatively easy to take a look. Well, it's not easy to look at, but it is easy to accept, see and get to. It should be right under the intake manifold to the left next to the turbo inlet. Take a look in there, see if you have any old crusty hard lines that might be just leaking, broken, anything like that. Depending on what year the car is, if it's older, those lines will be crusty. It might not be a bad idea to replace them. Or if you're on a Pro Tune and you're in an area where emissions aren't really a thing, you can delete that evap solenoid out of the engine bay and then just vent that to the atmosphere. Matt coming in, answering some questions. What up, Matt? Killer B has FA20 equal length headers, but from the factory they already are so are. But from the factory they already are so are you looking for something that will accommodate a different turbo? Look at that, Matt. Look at that, man. Matt's jumping on it. Henry, hey Tanner, would you recommend going with a 265 or 255 35 18 tire with 18 by 9.5 plus 35 wheel on an 07 STI? Personally, I'd probably get a smaller. So, I mean, 255, 265, that's going to be the width of the tire. The 35 is going to be the aspect ratio in accordance with the actual width of it. So, it's going to be 35% of 265. Depending on how low you are is going to determine what size you want to go with. If you're on an 18 by 9.5 plus 35, I would probably do a 255 35, just because you're really going to start pushing inwards towards the coilover, and you're also going to be pushing outwards a little bit. Plus, with a huge sidewall, if you decide to go with anything over a 35, it is going to be a little bit more difficult to fit the tire under the fender. Personally, I'd get the 255 35 18. So you are getting negative 2.45 on fine knock learn. That is totally normal. And negative 7 on feed. Okay, so you're getting negative 7 feedback knock. 2.45 fine knock learn. That's normal. The 2.45 is normal. The negative 7, it could be ghost knock. You could have something rattling around on the top of the engine, like a loose bolt or something, maybe a nut going around the knock sensor. Your knock sensor could be going bad. I would start by taking a look around the knock sensor, see if you have anything loose around there that might be setting it off. Philip, what's going on, dude? Hey, I'm over in Japan. I am jealous and thinking about getting some suspension for my 12 GR. Only track a few times a year, so I think coilovers are a bit overkill. Think stock setup for a VA is a worthwhile upgrade. If you're, I personally wouldn't do a VA setup on a GR. It would work. But if I were you, I would just keep the stock struts and just swap out the springs for some lowering springs if you're looking at doing that. Some RCE yellows are a really good spring that I've seen people track before at like Autocross with rather good results. As for the struts, if you just want a newer strut assembly, by all means get a VA set. But I don't think you'll see a huge difference between the GR and the VA. Also on coils and rears are rolled. That goes back to the tire question. I would still stick with the 255. Yo, what were those body kits for the FAWX you were talking about? Fenderist. That's the one we were talking about last time. The Fenderist wide body kit. That's what I'm going to be running on the VA STI. They're good looking kits, so they're rather affordable. I got to do valve cover gaskets on my 16 WRX. Already? It's a 16 WRX. You're doing them already? What? Oh, Matt's back. Matthew's back. I feel that on the gauges, but still cheap in my opinion when compared to like a 200-ish gauge. True. Just keep in mind that with those genome gauges, the sensors normally aren't included because people typically just like chop and then like pull them out of cars. To bite the bullet and buy cams for $1,000, probably BC cams or say stock cam with Beehive valve springs, TI retainers, and GSC valves for $550 to 600 wheel horsepower, any input man, EJ255 as well as that matters. I would highly suggest cams at that point. The BCs are, I mean, I can't give you real feedback on BCs. I've driven the car like 4 times with the BC cams in there. I've heard a lot of good things about BC cams. A lot of people do use GSC cams as well. Honestly, I would do the whole valve train if you're looking at it. I just did the valve train on the 20 or on the EJ25 out there. I think for springs, retainers, valves, valve guides, and everything for all parts, I want to say it was around like $500 or so. Wasn't like crazy bad. The cams are where it gets expensive, and then keep in mind, if you are doing valve guides and things like that, you are going to have to drop the heads off at a machine shop. Old guides are going to have to be pressed out, new ones are going to have to be pressed in. But at like $550 to $600, I would definitely consider doing that stuff. Just wanted to say thanks for the videos, man. You're super comprehensive and led me to get my 18WX. Well, congrats on the car, my friend. This community is great, and your care for us. I thought you said my carefree for your care for us shows. For that, cheers. Hey, congrats on the car, dude, and glad the videos are helping, my friend. When putting a bigger turbo on an 08WX, I think you need to get better into for sure. Yes. Yes, 100%. 08 WRXs had issues with the main bearings on the crank. I would highly suggest at least going through there and refreshing that case half. Just split it open, re-hone everything, swap out internals to what you can afford. I would at least do like STI rods with some aftermarket piston option if you are on a budget. But I would definitely suggest, depending on like how big of a turbo you're going to. Do you know what would cause a quick buzzing noise when first starting a 2020 WRX when the heater AC is on? I mean, it's normal for it to do like a bzzz when it first starts up. Like, that's normal from time to time. If it's really cold outside, it might be a little bit louder, but I mean, it sounds relatively normal. Olympus Rally is in Shelton, Washington. Yes, it is. I've heard of that one. April 24th, 25th, and Oregon Trail. I've heard of the Oregon Trail Rally a lot. That one always comes up. I always like follow that one whenever it happens. Is in Portland and Duffer, Oregon. I think I got that. Check one of them out. Volunteer to marshal like I do. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of fun. I don't even know. I don't even know what that comment means. The day I fully finished building my 2017 FA20, a blind senior citizen totaled my car. Why was he driving if he was blind? I'm sorry to hear that that happened, but why was he driving? Why is that a thing? Any tips in making my 2010 WRX sedan look more aggressive? Been told this is the ugliest body style. It's not my favorite body style, but there's definitely things you can do. I've seen people do the front end conversions where they swap the front end to an STI. You get the wider front fenders. You can get a better looking bumper. As for what you decide to do with the rears, I've seen people flare them. I've seen people wide body them. There's a lot of options you can do with the narrow bodies. It can get a little expensive if you start paying a shop to do everything. So just keep that in mind. The narrow bodies need love too. Even though they're not my favorite, narrow bodies need love. Don't get me wrong. I like narrow bodies. They're just not my favorite. I plan on getting close to 400 wheel horsepower. So the Cobb 20G is one I'm going with. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect. Well, glad I was a help to answer. Hell yeah, Olympus Rally. I'll be out there. It'd be fun. I might swing down to that. Matt, make a YouTube channel. Matt! Make a YouTube channel. I'm like forwarding a comment to you.
I'm upstairs.
Alright, never mind. Never mind. He said he's upstairs. That's all I got. Oh, so you are watching.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Oh, nice. Everyone?
Yeah.
Everyone's watching the stream in the house?
I mean,
Don't you tip me with a good time, Christian.
It's like Inception.
Melanie's playing a video game, but we're watching.
Oh.
I'm gonna smoke my vape.
Nice. Very nice. Alright, back to this.
Bro.
Oh! Hey Tanner, I know Cobb says they don't support JDM for the access port, but do you think it would be okay for my JDM EJ with a slight compression ratio difference? I mean, what's the difference? Like, how big of a difference are we talking here? Rolling fenders ain't that bad, just use a lot of heat. Very true. Very true. It's really not that bad. Like, rolling fenders is not difficult at all. Sometimes you have to adjust the coilover a little bit to be able to get the fender roller up in there, but a lot of heat and you'll be solid. I'm building a 6-cylinder Impreza sedan to race, though. It's a coupe. IDKY, I said sedan. I'm all about it. I like 6-cylinders. 6-cylinders, like, got me. I like them. I'm all about it. What's a good turbo for a stock block with a little more kick? Upgrade from VF52. If you're trying to stick with, like, an OEM, a VF48, VF39, if you want a little bit more, a Cobb 20G. If you want a little bit more, an FP Blue. 100%. Tomei equal length. Any good. 100%. Tomei makes good headers. especially their equal length one. It's never been my go-to for headers, but Tomei does make good stuff when it comes to that. Except caveat, except for the unequal length header for the FA20WX. That's the one thing I don't support by Tomei. Going to replace my clutch. Any tips? Take your time. Label bolts if it's your first time. Are you pulling the motor? Pull the motor. That's my recommendation. Pull out the motor. Do it that way. Don't drop the trans because that is awful. That is not fun to do. Personal preference, I would 100% every single time I go to do a clutch in a Subaru is pull the engine, then drop the trans. How far can I push my TDO for? Realistically, maybe like 300, 310 horsepower. Because sedan is superior GC chassis. Ha ha! Lighter? That's sick though. I crew for summer rallies. It would be fun. It would be fun to go to a rally like that and actually go hang out. Heck yeah! It's Friday live chat time! How many buckets this time? All of them! All 16! Woohoo! We ordered all 16 buckets. Came out to like $412-ish to replace every single bucket, and that's assuming that we got all the measurements right the first time, but I am pretty confident that all the buckets are right. I'm like 98% confident that all the buckets are going to fit first try. My belt is super loud on cold starts for about 10 seconds and then goes away. Anything to look for specifically? You could try lubricating it a little bit. You could try adjusting tension. If it's an older belt, then obviously replace the belt and that should be good. But those are my quick go-to suggestions for that. Welcome.
Hi.
Yo, you brought small dog with you. Oh, never mind. You just shut the door on him.
Sorry, buddy.
He was just coming to hang out, dude. You guys get sushi?
Yeah, I feel terrible now.
Why? How much sushi you get?
Too much.
Oh, nice.
The proper amount.
Nice. Look at this. We have a mat.
Oh, hi, it's me.
Now I gotta adjust my chair. I gotta adjust my chair where I'm sitting. Jesus. We just went through this one. Also, that's internal conversation. I've been trying to make videos for my channel, but don't necessarily have the money for parts all the time. Any tips for budget-friendly videos? Do discussion videos and topic videos. Like, take the time to research a topic and make a video on it and then share it with everyone. Like, you're probably going to get some criticism. Don't get me wrong. You're going to get criticism no matter what because everyone's going to have differing views and differing opinions on things. But that's like free content. Go do driving videos if you want to. Do maintenance videos. Those are cheap. What cheap video ideas do you have?
DIY.
DIY stuff. I'm all about DIY stuff. Don't pay shops if you can avoid it. Like, DIY everything. I'm all about it. Ace Media, just sitting here chilling, waiting for my email back. Neil, coming in with the... I sent my pigeon. I literally sent my pigeon. He didn't make it. But I talked to Subaru. I have a connection there, and they are partnering with Toyota to make a super fast hatch STI for Rally Champion. Ooh. And they were revealing the 2222 STI in a few weeks, and my local dealer will receive a good stock of them. I didn't think they were revealing it till fall.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything on it yet.
I've been keeping up on it.
They normally send me some stuff.
Matt's mustache.
It's
not a handle. It's not a handlebar, but
no, I may grow it down. We'll see.
it's not a handlebar.
Don't
Potentially respond to email live. I have to find it. I have to dig through my emails. There's so many. I've been working all day. All right. I've just first time I got on my computer all day.
I've been sleeping all day. So what's up?
Just got a 14 STI recently. Dealer told me it had an aftermarket exhaust and intake. I think it has more done to it than that. LOL. Never looked into it because I'm new to this. Well, I would definitely take a peek, look around in there for anything that looks aftermarket because, especially if it doesn't have a tune on it. If you're running an intake and it has like a full exhaust, like downpipe and everything, there's no tune on it. That could potentially create some issues that are going to give you a headache later on. So definitely take a look in there and see what's going on with it. The Tomei unequal length headers for the FA sounds like an STI and a BRZ had a baby. Cool, but that twin scroll doesn't like it. 100%. I don't know why they made it. People bought it. That's why they made it. That's why Tomei made that. You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
The Tomei unequal length manifold for the FAs.
They undid.
They undid all the progress.
Yeah.
All the progress that Subaru did.
Well, just because you can never get rid of the rumble.
You can.
But people will fight it.
Are you kidding me?
They go, give me that rumble even if it wasn't made with it.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with modern day WRXs and STIs is WRX owners want the rumble, STI owners want equal length header. For the most part. It's like reverse backwardsness.
You're always mad at what you don't have.
That's not true.
You're envious of what you don't have. You'll have the equal length superiors say it's better for everything. Like I'll sit there and go, but it makes more sense. And then you'll have the people that are like, where's the rumble?
That is true.
So yeah, you're gonna.
That's all that.
You piss people off constantly.
That's all that unequal length provides, though, is just rumble.
Yeah.
That's all you really get. That's the only. To an extent, I wouldn't call it a benefit, but
It's not. I mean, if sound is.
I'm getting back at it.
Yeah, let's stop. What you got?
I'm off topic. Is an AOS worth it on a relatively stock car? I just have a cat back and an access port. 100% yes. You still have a good amount of blow by on a stock car that goes back into the intake track from the PCV system. So getting that AOS or at minimum a catch can in there will help mitigate a lot of the blow by that's going through there. But is there anywhere I can go to reference a stock car so I can find out the mods it has? Google Images. It's the best place.
Or just take pictures of the whole thing and post it online and see.
Yeah, you could do that. What? I mean, if you're in the Discord, feel free to post up some pictures in like the needing help tab or something like that. Post like a couple of engine bay pictures from different angles. Be like, hey, just bought the car. I don't know a ton about it. Do you guys see anything that might be aftermarket that doesn't look stock that I am missing? There's a lot of people who are well versed in Subarus in the Discord. That would be more than willing to help out. I probably wouldn't do it on Facebook. I wouldn't do it on Facebook.
I avoid Facebook at all costs.
Where did I just go? Oh, here we go. How can I know how much horsepower I have in my car if the previous owner didn't say to the dealership that I bought it from? How can I know if how much horsepower I have in my car?
So the only way you'd really know that is to put it on a dyno and run it.
Dyno.
Yeah.
Which that's going to give you mixed answers also because you could take your car on one dyno, take it to another dyno, and it may spit out different numbers.
It'll around other people's cars that have been on that same dyno.
That's true. New belt for the belt question. AOS is always good. It is. The JDM EJ205 has a 9-to-1 compression ratio versus the USDM 8-to-1. Well, no, this I need to scroll back up because that was in relation to another question, if I can find it. So he said, hey, Tanner, I know Cobb says they don't support the JDM for the access port, but do you know if you're using a JDM motor with an USDM trans and the compression ratio for the OTS tune that you're going to be using is built for an 8-to-1 compression ratio versus a 9-to-1 compression ratio, I would not use that OTS tune. I would not use that. I would get at least an E-tune at that point. I mean, even though the tune's not going to change dramatically, the compression ratio will still be... The tune's still going to affect it. I would just get an E-tune at that point. Like $200 for an E-tune. I wouldn't risk it. Would you risk it? I wouldn't risk it. Yo, you should totally come out to the Olympus Rally in April. It's such a fun environment and would be amazing. That'd be fun. Going to a rally.
Cool.
That'd be fun. I'd be down.
Outside, shoot some of it.
That'd be fun. We get a whole bunch of like fun shots.
I like doing that. I like shooting cars flying by.
I mean, you did it at Spirit Peaks for a while. How's it going, Speedia? Is the rev hang any better on the 2020s over the 2015 to 2019s? Subaru claims that they fixed the rev hang on the 2020s, but I've heard from people after driving the 2020s that the rev hang is still there. So maybe they only fixed it to an extent, but I don't think it's like fully fixed. Don't think so. Matt's mustache fire. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
From my understanding of research, not all of them vary 8.8. Okay, that's for the compression ratio one. On the headlights, I had my friend Blackout House Yellow Mine for ISR Turbo up pipe on his Genesis, but we traded goods and services. That's not bad. I wasn't feeling too comfortable doing it myself. That's totally fine. Like, not a lot of people like throwing their headlights in an oven and baking them to 400 degrees or whatever people are baking them to. You shouldn't go that high. You should only bake them at like 150 max for like 5 minutes at a time. Don't cook your headlights. In stock form, what gen is your favorite STI? 2007. 100%. Stock form, 2007. You get top feed injection. You get the newer engine styling in an older like body style. I think it's the best of both worlds. 07. Golden year of STI. What do you think? What is yours?
That's mine too.
07?
Yeah, I like Hawkeyes.
I mean, I love Hawkeyes.
You like hot guys?
Who doesn't? Matt, are you sick of Tanner asking you for rides because he hasn't had a running car in months?
Actually, on my days off, we normally take Mel's.
Yeah, we take the Impreza.
Chewy takes like 20 minutes to warm up, so...
And it drinks gas.
Yeah, we just avoid that at all costs, so...
It drinks gas.
Mel's probably upset with us constantly using her car.
She hasn't cared so far. Well, the 05 should be up and running by the end of next week.
Yeah.
Should be. All we're waiting on is valve buckets to come in, and then reassembly, and then toss it back in, and then hope that everything is solid. There really shouldn't be any issues at this point.
No.
The only thing the cam cap actually doesn't even worry me at this point.
I'm not thinking about it.
I'm not worried about it. There's nothing to worry about. It's smooth. It looks okay.
It'll be fine.
Once it's sealed up, you'll never know it's there.
Yeah.
You'll never know. Tips on pulling motor out. First time. If it's your first time pulling your motor, go through. If it's your first time completely disassembling the motor and pulling it out, get some painter's tape as you're undoing electrical connections if you want, and it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. Go ahead and throw some tape on there. Write down like 1, 1, 2, 2 on like electrical connections. You can do the same thing with like vacuum lines. As you're pulling bolts out, a tip that I do is get like Ziploc bags. Say like you're pulling the intake manifold off. Put all of the intake manifold bolts in a Ziploc bag. Poke a hole in the Ziploc bag and then zip tie it to the intake manifold so that way you're not losing bolts and hardware. The more you go through and disassemble the same engine multiple times, you kind of memorize where every bolt goes at that point. But if it's your first time, label everything, organize everything, take your time, don't force anything. I think I have like pretty detailed videos of going through there and like disassembling the engine, pulling the motor, a whole bunch of steps on doing it like that, but it's not as gnarly as it seems. It's really not that bad. Especially in a Subaru, it's pretty easy. What is it? I mean, technically, if you really just wanted to pull the motor, you could undo motor mounts, undo bell housing bolts, undo radiator hoses, pitch stop, electrical harness. And
so just make sure you drain all the fluids and then look for whatever's still connecting.
I mean, you can drain the oil once that's out of the car. Yeah. Coolant, you definitely got to drain that while it's in the car, though. I mean, you could do it while it's out of the car, but you're going to make a mess.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
It has a stage 2 tune. Fernando. That is the one where he was referencing.
It was just a...
Yeah, no. He was referencing if his car was stock or not. Oh. I would definitely like post pictures up on the Discord or Facebook if you're daring enough. Just keep in mind some Facebook groups might give you some backlash. Then following up, what is my favorite gen with typical mods? Stage 2 power mods, wheel suspension, etc. Stock form is 07 STI. Modified? I think I'm going to go 05.
Really?
I'm going to say 05 is my favorite gen. Modified is the 05. I love that blob-eye. I've wanted a blob-eye for years. A black...
I kind of like GRs.
You like GRs, like the hatchback or sedan?
I like the hatchback. If they have the... what is it, the Varus?
The blacktop arrow wing?
Ridiculous boy.
Yeah, the blacktop arrow wing. Oh, wait, 08 to 10 or 11 to 14? Because there is a difference. Bumper styling.
No, I'd have to take the latter.
The 11 to 14?
Yeah.
I do like the GRs. The GRs do look good.
The 08s are cool with their little on the front bumper type thing.
What, the stupid little things?
The little guys.
That's how my 08 was.
But
my 08 had that same stuff on there.
Like, the one that was in the Fast and the Furious.
Well, it was an 08 in the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, so I just pictured and I go, ooh.
Ooh.
Each time I see it, but...
Hello. Wow.
I was like, I'm gonna go hang out with Matt, because he's gonna be hanging out with upstairs, unless he's hanging out with your man.
Nah, we in here.
We're partying. Alrighty then. Well, whenever you get to it would be great. Oh, that's the email. I will try to get through the email tonight. There's so many emails built up in there. It's going to take me a little bit of time. I'm trying. What should I go with? WRX or STI? If it's your first one, it really doesn't matter. Don't get stuck on like specifically an STI. If David, you missed the whole stream. We've been going for like an hour and a half. Dude, it's every Friday at the same time. It's alright, dude. It'll be posted up after this. Honestly, if you're just getting into Subarus and you don't know whether to get a WRX or an STI, if you're looking at getting an EJ-based car, don't get hung up on if it's a WRX or an STI. The mod path for both of them is going to be fairly similar. The major differences that you're going to notice between an older or an EJ-based WRX or STI is the STI is obviously going to come with a stronger transmission, better brakes, but when it really comes down to modifying it and you really start getting like deep into modifications, it's really going to be the exact same for the engine stuff. If you're looking at a newer one and you want an FA20, at that point you're going to be considering like, all right, FA20 is going to have better gas mileage, it's going to be a little more efficient, it's got the same amount of space as the newer STI, so it kind of comes down to FA20 versus EJ. If it is an EJ that you're looking at getting, just don't get hung up on WRX or STI. I mean, that would be my advice. You got anything to add in?
I feel like WRXs are more responsive to mods.
They're more affordable also. Like, you're going to save a couple thousand getting a WRX over an STI.
Yeah.
And, I mean, honestly, the mod path is so similar between both of them. Why do you say the WRX is more responsive? The FA20 WRX? Or the EJ WRX?
The F820.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the EJWX. So I was like, wait a minute, how are you saying?
No.
I got you. Yeah, the F8.
If you're getting new, I would say that because of the direct injection, it's a lot easier to make power on that.
Up to like 400 wheel horsepower, and then it kind of like caps out, and then it becomes difficult.
Yeah.
But like up to 400 wheel horsepower, those things are so responsive. It's stupid. It's not even fair. After 400 though, that's when the STI kind of takes back over.
Yeah.
HF to swap it with the VF43, or do you have some advice? HF to swap. I don't. High flow? I don't know what that means. I'm trying to like figure out if it's a typo. I don't know what that means. HF to swap it with a VF43, or do you have some advice? If you're looking for like an OE replacement turbo, VF39, VF48, good turbos. Like I don't quite understand the question on that one. I'm a rumbler for sure. We got a rumbler. See, people like the rumble. There's nothing wrong with the rumble. I like the rumble. I just like efficiency a little bit more. Do you still work on retrofit HID projectors on the side? I do. If you guys do want some like headlight work done, feel free to let me know. I just take jobs very scarcely. Because time for me is minuscule at best. And plus, it's just it takes a lot of time. Boxers have a unique firing order, so they'll still sound different than an inline 4. That's true. The 05 STI with the Killer Bee headers on there still sounds a little bit like a Subaru. Matt's Subaru with an equal length header still sounds a little bit like a Subaru. They still sound like Subarus.
Yeah.
I'll do everything except headers for the sound. It's alright. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Do you have the Perrin turbo inlet? Any idea how to mount an aftermarket electronic boost control solenoid? I used to have the Perrin turbo inlet. Now I have the FP turbo inlet, which is stupid big. I mean, it fits well. I mean, that's the one Perrin product that I like is their turbo inlet. As for how to mount a boost controller, I mean, normally it has a mount. Normally it just bolts right up. Also, the Jazz MBX. Appreciate the dono, dude. Thanks for all the info and work. Anytime, dude. Appreciate the support. Nth Level Entertainment. What up, dude? Tanner and Matt.
Oh, hello.
Any time attack builds coming. That's what the 17 STI is going to be built for. It's going to be like 40% street and like 60% track time attack stuff because I want to figure out how to do it and race it because it'll be fun. That'd be fun. Would you time attack Chewy?
That was kind of the plan.
Yeah, I mean.
But we have to blow up the transmission first.
Oh, since you're in here now, you have more information on this. Let's circle back around to it. The manual swap in Chewy. Someone asked if you've considered doing it. I kind of brushed over that people have tried in the past with a lot of like hit or miss failure on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have more info on it than I do.
So, yeah, we've considered it. I mean, we're still considering it. The biggest issue is how much money goes into doing that. Basically, you gotta pretty much, like you were saying on the stream, you gotta pretty much get a full parts car because my chassis is, for some reason, if you really research into it, the only chassis where you need basically everything from before the A-pillar forward in the car, wiring-wise. You need an ECM. You have a whole bunch of issues with other things. There's been maybe like a handful of people that have done it, and I mean like 11.
11 people.
And out of those, I don't think anyone's had the ABS system working properly or pretty much anything along those lines. So we're gonna have to figure it out.
I mean, I think we can figure it out.
We want to do it. That is the plan for the future. It's just kind of a money thing. So, and then learning.
I mean, wiring. We could figure out wiring. If I was able to figure out what every single wire did in the 17 STI,
yeah,
I feel like we could figure it out.
No, we could definitely do it. The only other thing really stopping me is Chewy is currently my daily, so I can't really have it down and do that.
Oh, also, Ravenchild, appreciate the dono. We have an update after we get through this one. Any way to tune out stability control, or is it new ECU 09 STI? I don't think there's any way to tune it out. I've never seen anyone tune it out before. I'm pretty sure it's just built in. I think you could disable it by doing like the button dance.
You should be able to.
I'm pretty sure that's the only way to do it is just the button.
I thought you can turn off stability control by holding...
I think you hold the VDC button.
Yeah.
And then it should turn it off and put it into like track mode.
Instead of tapping traction control, you hold it for like 5 seconds. And it should like make an additional beep and pop up there.
Yeah. And
I'm pretty sure that turns off basically all the VDC.
Yeah, I think in the STI it puts it into like track mode. In the 17 STI when I would do it, it put it into, it said track mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what it consisted of,
Oh,
track mode, but it would
That's
go into
weird.
track mode. Also, update on the Neon, because people have been asking about the Neon. Parts are in for the Neon.
Yeah, we do have a plethora of parts, and we're waiting on some more. So I've been just dumping money at this car again.
Well, the Neon has to get running anyways.
Yeah, we gotta figure out something with it. So, I did finally find another part that is apparently impossible to find, and it's the intermediate shaft axle that goes from the differential to like the side and extends out, and the whichever side, driver's side, no, passenger side axle.
Is there only
plugs
one
into it.
intermediate shaft then?
Yeah, because
Because
the engine's-
it's offset,
the engine's
right?
offset.
Yeah, so you have one that's longer than the other.
Differential's right here, and you have like engines right here. On the driver's side, you just plug in an axle right there. On the passenger side, it has to, so it's not unequal length axles. It has like a full shaft that goes out that then an axle plugs into, and that's your
Front-wheel drive
intermediate
cars confuse
axle.
me. I don't know why, but
So they're discontinued everywhere, and I have no idea where to find it. So
you said DCR.
Well, apparently, but if they're using OEM ones,
But if they
then
have-
he's probably gonna write me back.
But if they
and-
have any in
and
stock,
I've heard they're having trouble even like writing people back at this point.
DCR.
Yeah,
Can you
so
not
I'm
just
kind
call
of
them?
concerned about. I've tried,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to figure that out.
Also, David, appreciate the dono, dude. We got Perry the Pear back out there. I'm all about Perry. I love Perry the Pear. Anyways, I would like some headlights built for my 05 FXT. How much? That completely depends on what the build is for the headlights, and what you're looking at getting done, because everything is going to vary significantly on that. Who do you recommend in eTune? I know there's Eric at Torqued Performance. There's Ambot. There's Bren. The one who I suggest is Bill down at Delicious Tuning, just because he did an awesome job with the BRZ. Like, he knocked that thing out in like a day. It was just done. Okay, incredible e-tuner. Have I heard of Angel Motorsports? They're 15 minutes away from me, and they specialize in rotaries. They built the Twerk Stallion from Hoonigan. I've never heard of them. Have you? I cannot say I've heard of them.
If they built the Twerk Stallion, they're probably pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it's a good car.
Yeah.
I've got an 04 WRX base that goes back to the E-Tune. I would definitely suggest Bill down at Delicious Tuning. The older, I want to say it's 02 to 05 WRXs have the 16-bit ECUs, which are a little more difficult to tune than the revised ones, but I'm pretty sure he'd be able to do it no problem. That's why you get like different DAM readings on the 02 to 05 WRX, just because different ECU type. We heat gunned them actually 10 years ago, and they would be in the oven. I've never been a huge fan of heat gunning headlights. I've done it. Just not a huge fan, because you don't get even heat displacement all the way throughout the headlight. So if you have one area that's hotter than the other and you start trying to pull it apart, you have a huge possibility of cracking the headlight, breaking tabs. It's a little more dangerous than just tossing them in an oven. Rebuilding my 2012 Subaru WRX hatch. I was wondering what kind of clutch kit you'd recommend. Flywheel, throw-out bearing, friction disc. ACT would be my suggestion on that one. Their Street Series is a pretty good one. Whenever it comes to like selecting a clutch and flywheel setup that you're going to be looking at, flywheel, I mean, you could buy OEM replacement style. You could buy lightweight. I think ACT has a street light and a pro light, depending on what you're looking for. I think they're just different pounds. I think the street light one is like 1 or 2 pounds heavier than their pro light. But whenever it comes to like selecting a clutch, it's all going to be like torque ratings. Like, how much torque are you anticipating to make at the crank? So, I mean, ACT, that's what I run. That's what you run in the Neon.
I ran too, yeah.
It's a solid setup. I'm going to be running an ACT in the 17 STI. I'm going to be using their mod twin setup in that car, so it should be solid. It'll hold more torque than the X clutch, which is kind of what I needed.
Yeah, no, it should be good.
Saw an engineering explained video about rev hang, and it's for emissions purposes, so doubt Subaru eliminated the rev hang in the 2020 WRX completely. I could see that. What? How is that connected to emissions? I don't know how it would be. I'm gonna have to watch that video. I'm curious. Now I'm curious on how it's connected to emissions. Germs, your content is so awesome. I'm a Subaru tech, and I highly enjoy your content. Can't believe you do all that work in your garage on jack stands. Excited to see the EG33 going into the 17 STI. Thank you, my dude. That's one of the big things. You don't need lifts and like specialty tools for a lot of this stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Some things you do need specialty tools for, but for like the other 95% of the time you're doing work on these cars, you can make do with just basic tools. Like jack stands, like, yeah, does it suck to crawl under the car sometimes? Yeah, but it can still get done, and that's the thing. Like, Any of this stuff can be DIY'd at your guys'. If I can DIY it in that garage out there, you guys can DIY it in your garage. Assuming that you have a garage to be able to at least put the car in and enough room to like walk around, obviously. But maybe get a Civic Si for a daily. I have a daily. It's just on jack stands. It's been on jack stands for like 2 months. That's sad. My daily's been on jack stands for like 2 months. It ran for like 3 days.
I just pretend it isn't.
Love the channel, Tanner. Keep up with the great enthusiastic vids. In Australia, we are very limited to getting away with mods. Cops clamp down. Really?
That's surprising to me.
I know. I thought it would be a little more.
Like Mighty Car Mods and.
How do they get away with stuff? I know with some of the stuff in Australia, I could be completely wrong, but let me know.
It depends on area too.
I know with Australia, some stuff you need like an engineering permit for. To do modifications, which it's weird because up here we have pretty much free reign to do almost anything we want.
Yeah, like
almost anything we want within bounds of some. I mean, obviously you have to follow some emission standards or you have to follow some safety standards, but for the most part, like we pretty much, especially in Washington State, we have no emissions. We have free reign.
Yeah. Which
is weird because it's Washington State, but.
And I totally thought we were gonna go the other way on that.
Yeah, I thought emissions were gonna get a lot more strict, but. It's weird. Anyways, contact Mitch at Melee. He usually goes up there. I know Mitch. I talk to Mitch all the time. Mitch sent us a battery for the 17 STI. Mitch is cool. I like Mitch.
I'm just reading comments.
Why? Which one did you just get down to?
It's 2 down.
From where I'm at now?
Yeah.
I'll get to that one in a minute. Recommendations on a downpipe 18 STI. Cobb, GrimmSpeed, Nameless Performance, ETS. All really good downpipes. What are your thoughts on forum-driven? I don't even know. Apparently there's a 1J swapped VAWX. I haven't even seen it, so I cannot give you any opinion, but it sounds like a cool car. Is this the one?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the clear accents, I'd swear you guys are Canadian. The mustache doesn't help.
You guys are going to make me shave my mustache.
Dude, the mustache is nice. People like the stash. Who doesn't like the stash?
It.
Everyone likes the stash. I got my Killer Bee Holy headers yesterday. So hyped to install those. Those are solid headers. I love the Killer Bees. I've had Killer Bees on the past 2 builds.
I'm mad I don't have Killer Bees. So.
Get Killer Bees.
Congrats.
Killer Bees are nice. You're what do you have? NVIDIA? NVIDIA's not bad.
Yeah, but
we think they're not cracked.
I think I need to unwrap them and check.
We should get the stuff to Cerakote in the garage. And then we need a big oven.
We need a bigger garage.
We need a bigger oven.
We want to do a lot of things.
We need to build a shed.
Yeah.
We need to build the shed.
My back needs to not hurt.
Damn, Oreo, appreciate the dono, dude. Should I tell this girl I like her or no? P.S. Thanks for the videos and content. And somebody needs a channel for the neon.
Dang, dude, come on.
Should you tell this girl that you like her? Yeah. I mean, I've always been like upfront.
If you're not related to her, then go do it.
What?
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
What?
If you're related to her, you might want to see somebody.
What?
Yeah, but if you like somebody,
I would do it.
Yeah,
I would do it.
Tell him.
Get flirtatious with the text
maybe
messages.
Maybe don't go straight up to her, but like you could just maybe like nudge it. I'm not gonna tell you.
I'm so glad you have Sam.
You gotta walk up to her. You gotta look at her. You gotta say, "Hey, listen." And then you gotta get nervous and walk away.
Don't listen to that. I would just be like straightforward and like straight up. I'm a pretty straightforward person when it comes to that. I just saw an SRT comment. I agree, Oreo. I just bought an SRT4. We need SRT content, or you need to start a channel for the SRT.
Do you happen to have an additional
intermediate shaft? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right. We've been going for about an hour and a half. I need to get some dinner in me because Matt is dealing. Well, Matt and Sam went and got sushi. Melanie and I stayed here so that way I could kick it with you guys on the stream. So I appreciate all the donos, you guys. Keep an eye out for the upload tomorrow morning. It's going through like very in-depth on how to assemble EJ20 and EJ25 heads. So that way everyone at home can DIY it as well. If I did not get to you guys' question, I do apologize. Next stream will be as scheduled, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I might do a surprise stream this weekend. We'll see, but then again, I say that every Friday night, so we'll see if time works out for us in that way. But anyways, appreciate the time, everyone. Appreciate the donos, everyone, and I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace!